Alright, in this video we're going to talk about how to get our data to our Azure instance or our Azure database. So let's come up here and do the slideshow, and then we'll do an example. So here we go. So there are three principal ways to get our data into the cloud. One, we can script it. We can script the schema, we can script the data and dump it in, or we can do both at the same time. We can BCP it, which is a lot of fun, or we can use SSIS with ADO.NET, which works very well. 1 and 2 would be my preference. 1 and 3 would be my preference. 2 we could throw out the window. Okay, here we go. So we're going to do this in a second, but let's just walk through some things that may jump out of us right away. So we can generate schema, then separately generate our data, or we can generate schema and our data. So we can see some things that I highlighted here on our the generate and publish scripts wizard. Alright, there's no primary key in those two tables up there, so they won't be coming along, and we don't need them anyhow. So we have an XML data type, which I'll cause a failure so we can see it in a second. And also we have some things there at the bottom, user-defined data types that we won't include, and XML schema. XML, no can do. Alright, so let's move on real quick here to the next slide before we get to the hands-on example. Alright, so once we generate our schema, we change connection. Alright, pretty straightforward. We can't use use statements because they are not supported. Well, they're not supported for you and I. They're supported for federations, which we'll talk about later. Alright, so you'll navigate to the database. We'll run the script. What else did I say here? Once the schema has been created, we change connection. Yep. Script approved. Yep. Okay. So here is really one of the key, as we generate, well, let's just go look at this. Let's end this and let's go look at scripting. Hide that now. So we have script R2, AdventureWorks, the R2 database. So here we're going to right click and we're going to go to tasks, and we're going to come down here to generate scripts. Do you see that? So let's bring them up, and here is our generate and publish scripts wizard. So here we've got the option to do we want to script the entire database and all the objects, or do we want to script specific objects? Well, let's go ahead and fail it and script the whole thing. But obviously, as you saw from our little PowerPoint presentation, we're going to have to leave off some things. But let's go ahead and show you some failures. So here we have some more options. We have an advanced. We want to save this to a query window. We want to go to advanced, and this really is the key. Blow this up. The key to this whole scripting tool. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is script for the database engine type. Alright, so we have a standalone instance here, and if we click down, we now have an Azure, and you'll see it turn some things off, and you can see it turn the script, the use database, turned that to false. Use statements are not allowed, so it turned them off. Alright, also we need to come up and convert these UDDTs to base types. Alright, Azure does not support user-defined data types. So now it looks like we're ready to go, and we go next, and this gives us a little review of what we just done, and we run it and we blow up. Alright, so what we want to do is why do we blow up? So we want to save this off. Let's go and save it to the desktop as it is, and let's now we don't want to, don't finish here, because finish closes them out, cancel closes them out. Let's leave them open so we can go right back and check out we can just as a jumping off point. So let's hide him. Hide. Let's hide that. And look at that big Chrome HTML icon, and we see what we have. Sorry, no XML schema. All right, so we failed. So we now have to come back, right? And we have to alter our script. We have to actually go back another screen, and we have to choose our objects, right? So now we want to select our tables. So we know, as I mentioned prior, I found out that these don't have primary keys. We don't need them. So we're going to select what we want. And I happen to know that the product model has a XML data type. Now, I mean, what if, we're just creating a script here just to show you how to do it. How do we move our schema and data to the cloud? What if that were the product model were an important table? Well, then you're going to have to re-architect that table and get rid of that XML schema. Alright, so what else? Let's do views. Let's do stored procs. Functions, no data types, XML collections, and schemas. Alright, so now we want to go next. We want to make sure that it saved our changes, which I don't think it does. So now we have to go in. So standalone instance, we choose Azure. And we come up here and we convert these to the base types. We hit OK. We hit next, and we pray that this works. And here we go. Alright, so now that we have our script, we can save it off somewhere if we want, or we can just change the connection and run it. Well, we need a shell out here because I don't have a shell, so let's go create a shell. Right click, let's new database. I don't think it's going to let me do that. Oh yeah, look, it's going to let me do it. We can do it this way. I didn't. It's very cool. Let's do it through the portal, right? So here is our portal. Let's close up our firewall rules. Let's go we're in database. Let's create a database. And here we have, how about we create one called ADV AdventureWorks 2008 R2 web one size, sure. And now when we come back to our management studio, we should refresh and see it. And there we go, ADV. Alright, so now let's close this, because we don't need that. We created it through the management portal instead of us writing our script. So now we have our schema. So let's right click and change our connection. You just right click anywhere here in the canvas. So we come down here and we want to connection, change it, and here we go. Alright, so it's saying here is our cloud database server. So it wants some authentication, and we'll give it some. And now I don't think it works with this version yet. Oh, I thought that it would not drop down. I have problems doing that recently. Either way, it worked. We'll take it. It has dropped us. Oh yeah, it dropped us down. So this is our new shell we just created for the script, and let's run it and see what we get. And we get some objects that are going to be invalid. And why are they going to be invalid? Well, it says the invalid because we've not brought over some of our schema. So I could not. All right. So we're going to have to go through this, right? Well, each one of these failures and remove the references, the underlying references to these tables that we've left out, right? Because they're still there. So when we added our schema in terms of our views, or what is this? invalid. Yeah, here we go. It's telling us the very first failure message, right, is on this view, and it says in the invalid object here, you're missing, my friend, you're missing product model. And we know we're missing it because it has an XML data type and we didn't bring it over. Alright, so let's just see if it created for us the rest of it, or what we have. Let's see. Refreshing, and yes, it did. It still created our schema for us. And that is how we move our data from our, what are called the new terminology for this is on-premise. Your on-premise location, which is where you are at work, where your business is located, and then there's the cloud. So we now have just moved our script up to the cloud. However, it's not clean here. This wasn't very clean, so I would do this over. I would have to go back and change all these. You don't want failures. Yeah, that's not good. So what we can do, let's see where we are in time. We're probably stretching the time limit. Yeah, let's close this out, and in the next video we will script everything together except these underlying objects, so we can get a successful run. So let's go and kill this. Let's go to our portal. Let's find out our click here on the one we just created, and let's drop it. Yes, I do. He's gone, and we move back to Management Studio, and we refresh, and out we go. We can kill this, and we've got a clean slate to start the next video with.